We are designing some housing on Cedar Street. And I'm Hunter Reiner.
I'm Grant Michal.
I'm Kyla Strikler.
And so our project mission was to design 4-person apartment suites with commons, laundry, a kitchen, and an SDLC studio space for the arts. And we wanted to make the space welcoming and inviting, also while capturing a unique design that sets this design apart from others on campus, but not making it feel out of place. So the location is along Cedar Street, which is right here. It's close to Founders here and Ober here. If the entrance to the college is changed to Cherry Street, it would lessen the flow of traffic on Cedar Street, which would allow for easier access to the building. So the front of the building, this is from the college master plan. So this is actually proposed like this building is not here. This is where our plot of land is. So the front of the building would face northwest, providing views of sunsets, but not extensively lighting the rooms. And then the back of the building here faces southeast, and so that's going to give you plenty of sunlight throughout the day. So in our design, we included plenty of windows to accommodate to get as much daylight as we can. So here's just a close-up view of that. So here's where our space is. Like I said, this building is not there. It's just something the college had proposed. And then here's Cedar Street, and then Founders and Ober. So lighting, there's plenty of natural day lighting. Since the building has a front facing northwest and then the rear is facing the southeast, and it's also up on a hill, so you're going to get more sunlight since it's at the top of the hill. We did include shades in our design to block out any unwanted sunlight during the day, and then the use of overhead LEDs because they're far superior than the traditional incandescent or fluorescent tubes, and then softer, warmer lights in the bedrooms for a little bit of a warmer feel. So every new college building that the college has done has aimed at achieving LEED certification. So some of our possible criteria could be bicycle racks, walkable streets. You'll see in our design we have plenty of pathways connecting this building with some of the other ones on campus. Reduced parking footprints, as well as access to recreation facilities. Tree-lined and shaded streetscapes. As you'll see in the site analysis, there's a really nice tree line at the back of the space, and as well as there's a row of trees or plants and bushes that line Cedar Street that we could maybe improve a little bit, and minimize site disturbance if the college entrance is changed from Cedar Street to Cherry Street. So this would be Cherry Street and that's Cedar Street. This is where the current entrance is with the Brethren Church. And this is pretty high, it's fairly high traffic from students trying to get up to Founders. And so if this was changed to the new entrance, this would be limited a little bit so that it would be easier to get to this new building. So this is the north view. So here's the tree line that I was talking about. And then this is that one is Ober, and then so it's a pretty flat piece of land. Towards the back, as you can see, towards the trees, it starts to degrade a little bit. You can see it right here. It starts to degrade. This is Founders right here. So it degrades a little bit, but not a lot. It's pretty flat. It's a really nice piece of land. And then here is looking down towards the Brethren Church, would be right behind these trees, and this is looking down the hill. And so we could, put some nicer plants in there to have the plant line streets, and then we have the tree line on the south side and then on the southeast side on the back. So this is Ober right here. So this is the existing path that goes back towards, and that will take you all the way down to the Bowers Writer's house. And so we would improve upon this path right here. So here is the basic initial footprint. So our building isn't a rectangle, but this would be the basic footprint of our building, with parking in the back. And we would have to take some of the trees out, but you would still maintain the woods back here. And then as this is the existing path, and as I said, we're going to be adding both walking and biking paths around the building and around Cedar Street. So we drew inspiration from our design from a packet that Dr. Wunderlich gave us. And we in this design, we were going for a little bit of a U-shaped building with common area in the center. That was our initial design. We changed it. We changed it a little bit. But this Dominican Hall from Barry University was one of our inspirations. Keeping a lot of green space and having a lot of common area in front of the building. And then also SUNY, the Adirondack building. What we really liked about this was this huge glass wall in the front where we could have common spaces where we could let a lot of light into the common spaces where our students would be gathering. So initial design considerations, just the first thing we drew was this design right here. So this direction would be Founders. This is Cedar Street right here, and this would be the writer's house. So our basic design was to have the apartments kind of on the wings of the building, and then have the common areas in the center, and then have entrances on both sides, and then an entrance in the front. And then what this is exaggerated in this drawing, was what we were calling a glass curtain wall. And then in the next one, you can see this is looking at it from the front if you were coming up Cedar Street, and then we'll have some Revit drawings as well. So this was the first Revit drawing that we did. And as you can see, we changed the design of the curtain wall a little bit, and we made the entrance more in the front just so that more centralized. And we still have all of these windows in the front, so that the lobby area would be getting plenty of sunlight.
Alright, so that initial design changed a little bit from like that first little rough rendering that we had. So we wanted to add again like that green space and put in like a nice landscaping in front of the building for the students who live there to interact with each other and just enjoy the space. So we have several walkable paths, and in that front you can see we did end up putting like that glass curtain wall, but it is not like raised up to every single story like it was in the SUNY building. And then we have nice little like porticos and porches for people to gather on. There's tables like in there, and you'll see those in other views that are coming up. And then columns to give it like more of an old style feel, but they're a little like modern, which you'll see as the views get a little closer up. And on the top you can see also we wanted to add plenty of light in the building, so we put like glass paneling on the top for light to get into the lobby area. And that is just the back side of it. So we wanted to keep it open. We didn't want it to seem so closed off, just in case we would eventually open up that back side if we would include parking. That was just an option, or just another like, because like there is still really nice space back there for people to interact and like do recreational activities. And that's the overview. So it looks a little similar to our original footprint, and it doesn't have like all the extensive walking paths. So like on the left, that will be going towards like where the pathway to the writer's house is. On the right is towards Founders, and obviously in the front is going towards the rest of the campus across Cedar Street. So again, just another overhead view, which gets you a better look at the glass paneling on the roof. And then this would be the front entrance you come at. So with the sign designating what the apartments are, and then we'd have plenty of lighting around at night, so you'll be able to easily find your way there. And we had included plenty of outdoor seating too for people to interact, such as benches and then tables underneath the decks. And again, just a front-facing view, so now we'll actually go inside the building. And it's facing out. So this is just our first floor plan. So we did keep the rooms like towards like the wings of the building on the sides, but then we have a hallway running through and like a T-shape through the middle, both axes of the building, and then apartments in like the back corners as well. So the two in the front are actually designated as handicap accessible, and that pattern will continue as the floors go up, and the ones in the back are just normal. They're different dimensions. The ones in the back are 40 by 40 foot rooms, and the ones in the front are 50 by 35. And then also you can see the lobbies, which we'll get better views of in a second. So that's just the building cut in half, so you can see the three-dimensional side of it. And entering in, we wanted to make the outside of the building look similar to the rest of the campus, but the inside to be quite different and more modern, since a lot of the buildings seem to feel a little outdated now. There's not whole lot special or intriguing when you walk into any building on campus. It's all kind of similar. So you walk in, you have like a nice modern chandelier, and in front of you what you see is a glass elevator that'll go up to provide views around the entire lobby area and all the rooms, and then just seating around there. And that was just an idea. We didn't really know exactly how to fill in that space, so you could put in anything such as like paintings along the walls or other kinds of artwork, or even like fake plants around like the side of the elevator for decoration. So that's the first view of the one lobby we have, just a television and a few couches and chairs to hang out, as well as tables that run along the glass side of the wall. And that gets you a better view of like the rest of the building. So you can see the floors are not separated in this. There's a cutout through all of them to connect the building better, because a lot of the buildings here that we have are kind of closed off, and wanted to make the whole entire apartments have more of a community kind of feel to them. So that's just the other side of the lobby, where we have recreational things like a pool table and ping pong table. And then of course we would have laundry rooms. So that was on the floor plan, which again you'll see it'll come back up again. It was right behind the glass elevator going towards the back of the building. And on one side there was like a cutout for laundry, and on the other side we'd have just like a public restroom for people who don't live there. So this is the second floor plan. So this space back here would have been on the level 1. This would have just been like cut over a little bit, so the laundry would be like a little smaller. And then the center part you would have had your hallway that would go into the back, and to the right side you'd have your restrooms. But on the second floor, we still kept the laundry because we wanted to have every single floor have like access to laundry, so I don't have to lug their clothes up and forth through the elevators or stairs, which are located on both sides of the building. And we also just had like a studio hangout space just in case the lobby on the bottom would be filled for some reason for students to come in, so it's a little more closed off and quieter for students to come in. And again, we have a pool table in there in case they wanted to relax and take a break, or just couches and a coffee table, or just studio desks for drawing. And the rooms are also the same size as you go up, they stay the same. So again, it's just a cut-off section view of the second floor to give you a better idea of what that would all look like. And this is a closer-up view of both that laundry room and then the right side with that kind of recreational space and group setting. So, and don't be alarmed, the floors are not actually like purple as they look in there. That's just the way Reddit decided to render it. They're really supposed to be like a dark blue carpet is what we had in mind. They're not supposed to be that bright and in your face. Again, same goes for that shot, just a closer up view of like that study room. And the window on the left, we have a few of these throughout the building. We wanted to have like windows that brought in a little more light to the building, so like they're recessed windows that have like panels going around, they're 45-degree angled cut. Just to bring in more light from every side. And then this is a view from the second floor overlooking the lobby, showing you again like how the building's connected through the middle and up the elevator, and how light's brought through the front. So we wanted to add plenty of windows, so we got plenty of light to maximize the north, nice calming northern light. And lastly, we have the third floor. So again, not a whole lot changes. We have the rooms that all are the same, and then the same kind of lobby set out that we had for the second floor. And again, very similar to the second floor, there's just the cut. And then a look from the very top overlooking the rest of the lobby.
Okay, so then when we went into like looking at different rooms, we did a little bit of research to look at different designs in other colleges. So this one is from Colorado State University, and we liked how like each one had, there were like separate bedrooms for everyone, and it was more of a rectangular shape, which was nice. And then the one on the right was from Texas A&M, and we really liked how that one had 2 different bathrooms, so that like all 4 people in the room were not sharing the same bathroom. And then this one kind of mixed the 2 of them together. So yeah. So then this is what we started out with, which is like a basic sketch of what we thought the dorm rooms could look like. So we had the 4 separate bedrooms and then 2 bathrooms and a kitchen area and living area right there. And this is what we ended up going with in the end. So this is the 35 by 50 dorm room. These would be the ones at the front. So when you walk in, you'd have like the living area here with a nice long couch and like a TV stand and shelving here. And then you would also have your kitchen table, and your kitchen area over there would be more like a gallery style kitchen with seating, and then you'd have like a fridge and an oven and stove and everything. And then, so our 4 bedrooms in this style, in this room, would be here, there, and then we would have 2 bathrooms. So it'd be in between each room, so, yeah, and then they're right on the sides. So this is kind of a look into one of the bedrooms, and each bedroom has 1 window. So we'll have like an extra long twin bed, a nice large desk for the students to work at, and then they also come with a dresser and a closet. So that's just kind of like a look at the desk and how that is. So it comes with like a lot of shelving for people to put their books and anything that they need. And then this would be the closet over there. And it wouldn't be built in, it would be able to like be moved a little bit if needed. And then you'd have the dresser and the bed. So then going into the bathrooms, we wanted it so that like someone, since we're sharing them technically between 2 people, we wanted it so that if someone needed to get a shower, then someone else could still like go in and use the toilet or the sink or whatever. So we have this kind of like 2 sections for the shower. You would walk in, and then there'd be a bench where you could put like your clothes or whatever, and you could get ready, and then you'd have the shower like one farther in. And then you'd have the vanity here, and around the corners where the toilet would be. So that's that kind of look. So there's the vanity, and then the toilet, and then the shower is like right beside. And then this is the shower, so that just kind of gives you a little bit more of a look into it to see how that functions. And then this would be the kitchen, so you have a nice kitchen table with seating for 6 people, and then there's also 4 bar stools over at like the kitchen area where you have your refrigerator and everything like that. And then this is more of a closer look at the kitchen itself, and you can see how it's definitely like a gallery style kitchen. It's going to be a little tighter, but there's definitely enough room to work in it. And this is the living room. It's a little dark in this picture, but you would have a nice sectional couch there and a coffee table, and then you'd have your shelving over here. So then this is the shelving where you put your TV, and then you have an entryway table, and that's the entrance to the entire building, to the entire dorm area. So then we moved on to the back dorm rooms, which are a little bit smaller. They're 40 by 40. But they still have like kind of a similar design, so they each still have 4 separate bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and then the kitchen and the living area. So this is a bedroom. It's pretty much identical to how the other ones were, as you'll see. They each have a window, and then the extra long twin bed, dresser, closet, and a desk. So then there's the desk and the closet, and then that would be the entrance to the door, to the room. And then this would be the bathroom, so it's still a similar layout, but it's just changed around a little bit. You have your vanity and then your toilet, and then you'll have like the same shower setup as before. As you can see in there, you'll have like the section in between where you have the bench to get ready. And then this is, so like you would walk in from right over here, and then you'd have your vanity and your showers kind of right around the corner. And then this is kind of a look into, like, when you walk into the room, you have your living area, your kitchen table, and then your kitchen would be the side. And it's just kind of a different view so you can see where like how big the living space is. And the shelving, again, is pretty much the same. We kept everything consistent throughout all the rooms as much as we could. And then the kitchen is the same style.
Alright, so we just wanted to end up with some different views from the outside, different renderings from nighttime, showing like how nicely it gets lit up. And with that, we will open up to any questions you may have.
When can we start construction?
Whenever you like.
I think y'all did a great job, obviously put a lot of work into your presentation and a lot of work into your design, so I applaud you for that. Couple things that I jotted down. One is your apartment size is pretty generous, okay, for students. I remember when I was growing up, houses weren't that big, you know, single-family houses, and so you need to consider that. I like the central atrium, you know, and the all through the third story. I've been in buildings and worked in buildings that were designed that way. They are very open, airy, very nice to work in. I'm sure it'd be very nice to live in. The issues you run into, though, usually deal with stratification of air and HVAC problems with having 3 stories of open space. So you'll have to consider your HVAC design in that, okay? What is the capacity of your building there?
There's 6 rooms on each floor. Each one has 4 students in it, so there'd be 72 total students who could live in these buildings.
72 total. All right. And I was curious about the wings there. I think your outside drawing showed skylights on those wings. How is that like brought into the space there? I know the central you can get in down there, but I think you had some on the wings there as well.
Yeah, that light, again, like those are just like hallways that it would have been over top of.
Okay.
So if I
So
can
it'd be
find.
servicing that 3rd floor, but you really wouldn't be able to
Yeah.
do too much else with that, huh?
Yeah.
And did you consider solar
We
panels
thought,
at all for your?
I did actually think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beneath like the windows on like the south side, so it'd be on the back of the building. I did think about that because you definitely get a whole lot of sunlight from that side. Even like the building would be probably just as tall, if not maybe a little shorter than the trees behind it, so it'd still get plenty of light there. So I tried putting those in, and like aesthetically, it just looked a little funny, just like the way Revit like makes their solar panels. So I'm sure like real ones like wouldn't look like that; they look more similar to the windows. So I definitely consider that as an option if you were shooting for LEED criteria to get even like a bronze certification. It'd definitely be an easy thing to put on back there.
Very good.
I think it's really an ambitious design, especially on the interior. The atrium is a wonderful idea to try to work into it with the space. And, you know, it creates just a different level of spaciousness. I admire the way you paid so much attention to furnishings and appliances and, you know, just a small thing with your furniture that you've shown there. I'm sure it's not exactly what you would have, but like with your giant dresser and armoire, you can have drawers in the armoire, and if you cut the dresser down, even if you spread it out, anything that you lower and gives you more upper space is a less confining kind of feeling in the room. But one thing that kind of confused me is the way you design the front of the building. Can you show me a view of the front? It's a very nice design. Okay, yeah. So this is, you said northwest.
Correct.
Okay. So you've shaded the whole front with that. Is that like a walkway? Is that covered? I mean, which
That
is
is-
nice
that
because
is
we have so much
covered.
rain
Yeah.
lately.
So if there's a closer up,
Yeah, okay.
so like that kind of shows you a little better, and there's even another one yet that I had at the very.
See, that's gonna darken. You're
Yeah, that right there.
creating shade, you're making that a darker area by
Yeah.
doing that. It looks very nice,
Mhm.
but you see what I mean? It's already a little dark, and
Yeah.
then you're gonna darken it when your beautiful sunset comes. You're not gonna get that advantage. And I was thinking that sometimes people think of a building like, you know, keep talking back and front, like a piece of furniture where all the nice wood is in the front, and then they put, you know, cardboard or plywood in the back and staple it.
Yeah.
You want to think of a building like a sculpture, 3-dimensionally. There's no back. You know what I mean? There are sides. A back implies we don't have to care about that. Now, why shouldn't the back part, which is going to get more sun, have the solar panels, or also have maybe that kind of a cover?
Yeah.
And do something maybe a little different in the front. In other words, why should the back kind of be cheated that, oh, this is basically a facade, and we didn't, you know, we skimped on what happened in the other direction, especially if people park. That's part of your experience of the building as well.
Yeah. I certainly did like think about that, so like that's why I didn't just leave the entire thing just flat. I did like want to leave that porch cover, and honestly it was just kind of time constraints that prevented me from
Yeah.
putting the rest of like that nice thing. So I definitely agree with you. I think that we could definitely do something like that to make the back of the building nicer to interface for people who are coming in and parking there as opposed to parking
Yeah.
to the side or in the front.
If you were, if you were really gonna start building it, you'd wanna see how much sunlight you get there. Do you want a shady corridor in the front? Do you want more light?
Yeah.
If the building was turned around and that was your southern exposure, that would be really kind of perfect with the lights. But it's so creative on the inside, I think you should give yourself the opportunity to do some of that on the outside too. You don't have to conform to just, brick and with a little white trim. You could do a little more there.
All right.
But very nice.
I was curious about the room layouts. Can you go to a typical
Like a floor plan?
floor plan?
So it's the first floor.
So it seemed to me to maybe intentional with the bedrooms. The bedroom sizes were sacrificed a little bit for more
Yeah, correct. So like,
open communal
Yeah.
space. That was the intent.
yeah, generally it's like a trend, at least like for what we like kind of studied in this class and classes prior, that like, in college campuses across like the country, like people were valuing like centralized spaces, like more community spaces, more than like their own bedrooms. So like we kind of wanted to force people out of like, I guess like a comfort zone instead of just staying in a room all day to actually like going around and talking and socializing with everyone else.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, that was the idea with the atrium as well, was to bring everybody to some centralized location.
Great job, guys.
Thank you.
Great job.
Okay.